Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started in a minute. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for working with us as we perhaps sent you the link either via text message or via email. I heard that there was a bit of a, what can I say, technical difficulties with the link that was sent. So thank you all for your time and for hanging in there. Truly, truly appreciate that. We're going to get started in a minute because we've got quite a bit to cover, and I'm always excited for days like this. So just let's wait for our fellow brethren and sisters to join, and we'll get the party started. One more thing, let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Just put it in the chat. Just say yes, 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 yes. Awesome. Hi, Miracle. Hello, Miracle. I love that name, Miracle. Um, My daughter's name is Miracle, by the way, so that name stands out to me. Okay, awesome. So we just give it a couple of minutes. All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Ebony. Yeah, thank you, everyone. And how is your Friday going? How's your Friday going? How's your Friday going? How's the week? How has the week been? How has everything been? Has it been a good week? Has it been an okay week? Um, has it been a complicated week? Has it been a calm week? Let me know. Let's have a little bit of conversation in the chat, just so that we can warm up ourselves a little bit. How's your week been? I can share how my week has been. My week has been interesting. Interesting is the right word for my week. It's been a long week. We had we had PI planning at a very large scale, honestly. And so it took a lot of hours and a lot of preparation and a lot of after action items and all of that. But overall, it is summer around here. So the kids are in summer camp. They said it's not summer school, it's summer camp. And so that's keeping us on our toes and absolutely very busy. So that's how my week has been. I love to see complicated, but good. So good complication. Okay, we'll take that one. And calm and excited. You all are giving me like words that are very, very opposite of one another. Calm but exciting. I love that. Okay, well, I think for me, I probably say mine has been intense but impactful. How about that? It's been intense but impactful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything anyway, honestly. So, but the highlight of my week is being here today. I am just going to jump right into it. Being here today and talking about one of my favorite topics, favorite subject, favorite anything, Agile and Scrum. And so I want to welcome you again to our free workshop on behalf and courtesy of Answer Technologies, everything Agile and Scrum. You definitely find me smack in the middle of it. And today's topics all around career opportunities in Scrum. And so I'm really excited about today's conversation, today's topic. And you probably know why the more that I speak. So if there's someone you know that needs to be on this call, please feel free to share the link with them, okay? Because one of the things that we do here as well is it's an open opportunity for you to ask me literally any question regarding your Agile journey, your Scrum career, anything like that. On other platforms, it might be a little bit harder to get my attention, but I'm usually, available as much as I can. But on here, I can talk about Agile and Scrum all day, every day. So this is your, this is your golden ticket. But again, I want to officially welcome you to the June's edition of our Agile and Scrum free workshop on behalf of Answer Technologies again. Thank you for being here. And down the line, I'll probably ask you more questions to get to know where you're at on your journey and to know more about you. And before I dive right smack in, I always like to say this, right? And what I always like to say is when it comes to agility and Scrum, everyone has their opinion about it, and that is absolutely okay. Literally, the Scrum Guide is written in a way where there's flexibility for people to derive their own definition and derive their own interpretation. So for me and my household, everything I share here today is my opinion about just what I believe the market is asking for, what I believe recruiters are looking for, and what companies are literally searching for when it comes to being an Agile practitioner and a Scrum Master. And that is because of my experience in the field every day, all day. So just want you to know that. And I always like to say that disclaimer. because literally you can search online and you can ask a question and you see two things from two different people. So just FYI. All right. So what are we really going to be learning today? Again, like I mentioned, all around career opportunities in Scrum. So if you have your pen, your notes, all of that, please feel free to bring that out and just let's begin to take notes. And it would be remiss of me to say that you shouldn't wait to the end. I want you to wait to the end. Why? Because at the end of the day, right? In our industry, being an educator, being a teacher, being a practitioner, knowledge is great, information is great, but how do you combine all of that to really make impact, to really use that to change your life? I don't want to just give you the tools without telling you how you're going to combine these tools to really get to your goal, whatever that goal is. And I'm going to ask that later, whatever that goal is for you. I want you to be able to wait to the end so that we can talk about how can you combine all the things I am going to share today? How can I support you for you to get to your goal, for you to get to your destination, your career journey, your career vision, what that is. So please and please and please, as much as you can, wait till the end, and let's talk more about that, okay? All right, so this is where I talk about who is this webinar for? And like I said, I want to know more about you. I want to know more about who's on the call today. So let me know, are you an aspiring Agile practitioner? So aspiring meaning you want to be an Agile practitioner. You have a goal to be an Agile practitioner. Maybe you have taken your certification. Maybe you have taken an exam. You haven't practiced something like that. Like you don't have an experience. Is that who you're for? Is that who you are rather? Or perhaps you are an Agile practitioner, you're practicing Agile practitioner, you have the experience, you've worked, you're in the field and all of that. Or you're a college graduate, are you looking to switch your career? Maybe you want to switch industries, you want to make a whole pivot. Or are you someone who works with Scrum Masters or Agile practitioners, or you want to know more about this field? I am just curious to know the people on this call today. So please indulge me and let me know. All right, career pivot with some experience, wonderful. I like that. Aspiring, switching industries. Okay, love it. I'm happy to see that. Okay, and FYI, I'm going to be using the term Agile practitioner and Scrum Master interchangeably on this call, just so that you know. If you have any questions, just let me know about that. Currently a Scrum Master. Awesome, Joseph. I'm happy to hear that. How long have you been a Scrum Master for, Joseph? And Ebony, I am a CSM with no experience, okay? Done in switching industries, okay? And Miracle is pivoting with some experience. Awesome. I want to know more about that. When you say you're pivoting with some experience, what does that mean? Does that mean that maybe you worked with an Agile practitioner or Scrum Master within an Agile team or Scrum team? Joseph has 11 years of BA work before that. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. So I think that's great. You have enough experience around that, being a business analyst and of course, currently being a Scrum Master as well. So kudos to you for that. All right. And let me know again, feel free to answer my questions. Again, I just want to know more about who I have on the call, because that would give me an idea of how to also tailor some of my content to you today and to know the kind of questions I'm going to expect from you. And Miracle worked on the Scrum team in college. Awesome. So Miracle, you have some experience. That's great. All right. So again, I'm going to talk more about just like who am I and why should you listen to me? And as I see just where you are in terms of your Agile journey, I am doing this from Atlanta, Georgia. I am curious. Put in the chat, where are you watching me from? Where are you watching me from, number one? And perhaps how did you learn about the workshop? That's my next question. I want to know again, where are you watching me from? Atlanta. Oh, okay, Miracle. You might as well just, my daughter's name and my location. Okay. So I said Atlanta, Brooklyn, New York. Awesome. Meetup group. Oh, awesome. Our meetup group is working. Yay. Hi, Don. Atlanta. Yes, we sure did. Hi, Samantha. Okay, I'm glad that you're here. I hope I'm able to answer your questions as well. This is awesome. Houston, you got Houston in the house. Okay, great. So why should you listen to me? I don't want to assume that everyone here knows who I am. Even Miracle, who has my daughter's name, perhaps doesn't know who I am. So my name is Stella Ihenatur, and I am an agile practitioner through and through. I always joke and I say that if you hang around me for such a short time, I might just convert you into the agile world, and that's how really passionate and driven I am about when it comes to agility. I have the pleasure of having over a decade worth of experience in the agile space, and I say as well that literally started from the bottom. In the project management world, project coordinator world, and I'm currently leading engineering leaders, um, just leaders literally on their agile journey. And so I've worked in different industries, worked with different kind of persons, different background, and currently leading a team of senior agile coaches, like I mentioned as well, and just engineering leaders. I've worked in different departments as well. So when I say department, I mean different industries. So like data, AI, engineering, product, and finance. So to me, that's why I'm an advocate for the fact that agility can be leveraged regardless of the industry or what we're trying to build, either be a product or a service. And also, the best part of my professional journey is the fact that I get to do this. I get to give back to the community. I get to help professionals who are looking to pivot or change their careers through Agile. And so most people, that have encountered me perhaps don't know about Agile or Scrum. But what I get to do is that I get to help transform their career by showing them what it means to be an Agile practitioner as a mindset, but also as a way of work as well. And through NSTAR Technologies, which is an educational institution that is based in Atlanta, Georgia. And we have students literally all over the world who have had no background in tech, have no background in Agile, no background in project management. But through the course of our program, have been able to get into that space and are literally successful, way successful right now. So that's a huge part of my job that I'm very, very proud of. And you definitely hear some of their feedback and their stories as we go through today's session. And another thing, again, that another feather to my cap, I would like to say, is that I am also a consultant for one of the very popular agile certifying bodies and organization. And so I get to lend my voice on how some of yours exam might be looking. So yes, that's literally me. So agile as a way of work, agile as a way of life, agile as a way of mindset is who I am. So that's in summary. But like I said, this is the best part of my job is me teaching and me helping professionals switch into their careers. And so again, for today, let me bring you back to today's conversation, right? We're talking about career opportunities in Scrum. And the reason why I chose this topic for good reason, because of course, if you just literally Google search, you probably see all manner of feedback and opinion around, where is Scrum, where is Agile, and all of that. I literally get that information all the time in my inbox. But so I want to just expose and show, like, hey, there is nothing, dead around Scrum or Agile, and I'm going to give you more information around that. Actually, if you're searching, you're looking, and you feel like the market is not as the market should be. So this is a good time. Like I said, please, if you have questions, just feel free to put in the chat. And as soon as I get through my content, I'll be able to answer those questions for you. And so the run through of today's agenda will just really be around what is the state of the Scrum industry, right? What are the career opportunities that are out there? How do you identify these opportunities? Where can you apply for these opportunities? And just an overview of the market. What is the market saying? And I'm going to tell you more about our program. Hey, so that ending part, remember the beginning part of today's workshop, I said, wait till the end so that we can figure out how do you put all these tools together so that I can really help you in your career journey. And then questions and answers, right? So that's it. So let me jump right into the state of the Agile and Miracle, I probably might just adopt you. Scrum is a way of life, yes. The state of just the Agile and the Scrum industry. And so question, and I want to appreciate you for just really being interactive, right? So your engagement, your answers is really going to be very important because I want to make sure that I'm answering your questions and I'm serving you where you're at. So for those who are aspiring, right, or those who are probably practicing and also looking for Scrum Master job, what have you noticed recently? I want to know what you have noticed recently before I share what I have noticed recently. So let me know what you have noticed recently. If you are applying, hopefully you're searching for and you're actively looking. And if you're not doing that yet, that is okay. Um, that is okay. All right. So I see everyone say you need experience and a degree. Interesting. That is very interesting. Anybody else? What have you noticed searching for a Scrum Master job right now in this season that we're in? And I can tell you more about what I've noticed. A lot more Scrum Masters open to work on LinkedIn. Oh, that's a good one. That is a really good one. Yeah, that's why we're doing today's workshop. So that means they were working before, maybe they're not working, or you just never know, right? Okay. So I didn't see anyone on here who's probably is not aware of what Scrum or Agile is, but that's a really good one. More general project management positions in industries where Scrum will be ideal. That's a really good one too. Yes. All right. So just to level set, just for those who perhaps have not heard the word agile or scrum, like I mentioned, you might be on this call. I just want to level set real quick. So if you look at this, wonderful circle, you can see that scrum is a huge portion of it, right? And there's a reason why scrum is in demand. And I will share more about that. So there are other frameworks. So agile is a methodology, scrum is a framework, and scrum is one of the most popular framework, right? But why is scrum in demand? Why are companies looking for scrum masters or they're looking for something they have a name for it, but it is a Scrum Master, but they're not calling it that name. And we'll talk more about that for good reason, right? I mean, Scrum is really like focusing on delivering quality product or quality service at a really faster rate, right? We're able to make that feedback loop is so short. We can get changes literally real quick if the team is really self-managed and self-organized, right? One of the key thing about it is just how we're ensuring that we're creating that work culture where we can enhance productivity within the team. We want to make sure that the teams are taking ownership and autonomy of the work that they're delivering, right? Basically. And so there's a lot of benefit. There's a lot of benefit when it comes to Scrum. And that is why, companies require Scrum Masters, they require Agile practitioners, or like I said earlier on, a role that can do this, even if they don't call it Scrum or whatever, right? So that is a very, very important thing for you to know. And then we talk about the current state of Scrum, because I wanted to make sure that you are fully aware that, hey, the benefits of Scrum outweighs whatever the market might be saying. There are benefits of Agile itself when we talk about the Agile principles, the Agile values, and even just the Scrum values and the pillars and everything that is Scrum. There's something about it that organizations need it for them to be sustained, for them to be innovative, right? And so just understanding the value that you bring, especially if you are an aspiring Scrum Master or an aspiring Agile practitioner. And so if I ask you, like, what is the current state? What are you seeing? If Scrum is one of the best framework out there and companies require it, so why is it that, like, someone said, now you need experience, now you need a degree, which means that the level of entry has gone high. Why is that? Or there are now more Scrum Masters that are open to work on LinkedIn. So if there are Scrum Masters open to work on LinkedIn, then who is doing the Scrum or the Agile work within the company? Great question. Or there's now general project management position in industries where Scrum will be ideal. What happened? What year are we in? Because last time I checked, it was the pitfalls of waterfall, which is, of course, traditional way of managing project, that led to the boom of Agile as a way of work. And so if there are now more project management positions, what happened? All great questions, right? So let's talk about the states. Number one, economic factor happened. Economic factor happened. Basically, I mean, the seasons that we're in, the slowdown, the recession, and all of that, right? I remember I was on a panel and we are talking about, and I was, talking to Scrum Masters and Agile practitioners, and I said, you cannot just do the bare minimum. You cannot. And that was like at the peak where I knew like people were losing their job. And so I was very careful not to say this, but honestly, what I'm noticing, I'm realizing, and is what's happening is companies, no matter how painful this is, companies are practicing business agility by cutting costs where they think there is waste. Let me say that again. Companies are literally practicing business agility by cutting costs where they think there is waste, right? And so economic factors, the recession, and so companies may lay off Scrum Masters as a part of that broader reduction in workforce because they're trying to manage expense. And so if you're a Scrum Master on this call, I just implore you So please don't do the bare minimum. There's so much more that you can bring, so much value that you can bring, basically, right? Another reason will be organizational changes, right? And so there's restructuring happening. People are changing the way that they work, right? And going back to the question as to if Scrum Masters are open to work, so who's doing the Scrum work? Another thing is companies now realize that knowledge, they're trying to get their people to be agile in the way of working and not just Scrum Masters. And this goes back again to, as a Scrum Master on the job, what are you really doing? Because it's twofold, right? You can deliver value and you're very, very intentional about how you deliver value to your team, to your department, and that you could get promoted or they could be moved around different departments to, of course, teach them how to work in an agile fashion. Or a company could just realize that, you know what, we want our people to be agile. That's literally so. We want our people to be agile. We want them to be agile practitioners themselves. We don't want someone to tell them what to do. So there are multiple reasons why, of course, people could be laid off, or things could be changing when it comes to the agile career out there. Another thing is misunderstanding, right? Now there's a high demand. So the current state, right? So the FYI, the current state could be positive or negative, right? So one of the current state right now is there's a high demand for experienced Scrum Masters, and the key word there right there is experienced. Experience right there, right? And so some companies, one of the issues is that they think that Scrum or Agile can solve their whole problem, and then when they hire one person, they think that improvement and change is immediate. And when they're not getting that immediate change, what do? They begin to lay off people that they think is the problem. So that's another challenge, is that companies sometimes don't know what they're looking for or who they're looking for, right? And so they misunderstand literally the role of a Scrum Master. And so they think it's a non-essential position. Hence, layoffs happening. And that's why I always tell my students that when you're getting to a company, when you're doing your interviewing is two ways, because you want to know what their state of mind is when it comes to Agile and where they place that role in terms of value, right? And so that could be another reason that we could have an amazing, phenomenal, intentional, value-driven Agile practitioner, Scrum Master, but that person could be laid off, and it could be for no fault of theirs. It could just be the company just don't know what they're looking for, right? Another thing could also be the maturity. Right? So the maturity of the organization. Again, if the organization is evolving, and they're growing, they might decide, like I said earlier on, they might just want their people to just do their things by themselves, and they think that they don't need Scrum Masters or Agile practitioners. I have my own thoughts around that. I think that is just a short-term win that's going to lead to a long-term problem. Yeah, I think that's just a short-term win that's going to lead to a long-term problem, because honestly, like I always say, you can bring the best technical people in the room, but it's very possible that at the end of the sprint, nothing is being delivered. And that's just it, right? It's almost like saying, oh, well, we're good right now. We don't need a coach. Okay, absolutely. But how if their job is to code, their job is not to really understand how is Agile evolving, or how is Scrum as a framework evolving, and bring those best practices back into the organization. That is not their job, right? And so while it's wonderful for the team to be self-managed, like one of the feedback I always say is, when you get into a job, you want to understand the Agile maturity of the team. So you might have a team that is well ahead of their Agile maturity, but that doesn't mean that you should not still, coach them or guide them or figure out what hats you want to wear, either as a consultant, as a teacher, a mentor, or as a coach, right? So again, maturity of the organization, it might have nothing to do with you. It could just be maturity of the organization. Again, another state of Scrum right now we talk about is performance, and I think I talked about this already, right? Performance evaluations, right? So I have so many horror stories around Scrum Masters who just do the bare minimum. I have so many stories about Scrum Masters who say, oh my goodness, it's the best thing to slice bread. I don't even do anything. I just do my daily standard. And I'm like, child, you should be very, very cautious, because I don't think anybody is giving you 6-figure for you to clock in and clock out for 15 minutes asking, what did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? And if you have any roadblock or anything like that. And so, while I talk about Agile and I help professionals get into the Agile space, there's other part of me, like if you are my student, excellence is your barest minimum. And that is just the honest truth. You cannot be a Scrum Master and do the bare minimum. Absolutely not. And so performance could be a reason why, the current state where, oh, they feel like Scrum Masters are not doing that. Like if you literally read blogs and read articles, and everything, you realize that one of the challenge is that, like, what are they doing and what value are they bringing? And so again, I will talk more about how do we switch that mindset. And then last but not the least, industry saturation. Hello, COVID, right? Industry saturation, market saturation, right? So it could be an industry where there's an oversupply of Scrum Masters, right? Hello, tech industry, right? And that could lead to more competition in that job market and higher turnover rates. And I want to say these layoffs are never easy. I don't wish it on anybody. I mean, we've seen how people have been laid off and better doors have opened for them. It's been a time for them to reprioritize and everything, but it's never, never, ever, ever a good feeling. But I wanted to just level set on just what is the state. So the positives and the negatives. Scrum is in demand. Companies need Agile as a way of work, But what is going on right now? And so many things are going on right now. And honestly, it's just not peculiar to Scrum or Agile. There are other fields are also probably experiencing the same thing, but I know this because I'm in the space and I see what's going on, right? I've been at the other end of deciding who needs to be let go. And when I've asked questions, I've been able to understand how the leaders are thinking. Literally, like I'm open to, I'm privy to these private conversations and I see how they're thinking. And honestly, as a Scrum Master, sometimes how you're thinking might not be how the leader is thinking. Their value, their definition of value might not be the same definition of your value. And that's why I always say you cannot be hidden. You've got to lead from the front. But now I digress. But that is a state. However, there's still always going to be a demand. There is a demand. I am telling you that. And so I want to share just the career opportunities in Scrum. I put on here just multiple companies that we know we are familiar with. I just wanted to know, just in case you're not aware, right? There are a lot of companies that are leveraging Scrum and Agile. And remember when I talked about oversaturation of an industry, and I have a slide that's going to talk about if you don't have a tech background, can you work in Scrum? Of course, yes. Okay, you work as a Scrum Master? Of course, the answer is yes, right? And you think about career opportunities. But the question I have for you is, what industries are you looking at? Because most people really think that tech is the only place they can get 60 or tech is the only place where they can work as Scrum Masters, right? It is not the only place, honestly. And so there are multiple companies, right, that are leveraging Agile, Scrum. They might leverage other framework, which is understandably, right? But the value, that mindset, that Agile value, Agile principles, and all of that wonderful stuff is still at the base of everything, right? So they need it for innovation, for longevity, and to be able to respond to change, right? So I have another question for you all today. While you take a look at this, you can take a screenshot if you want to check out the companies. I have companies like the Weather Channel is looking for Scrum Masters. Of course, a lot of insurance companies are looking for Scrum Masters. I've got a student that's working at one of the largest grocery food and we don't call it grocery. I think we call them grocery stores. Yep, I've seen Scrum Master role for Kroger as well. So there are multiple companies that require Scrum Masters and Agile practitioners, and so it's in demand. I want you to know that it is in demand. Agile is not a new people are literally want to work, as Agile organizations now, just so that they can be innovative, they can have longevity, and they can respond to change. So back to my question for you. Take a moment to think about this. Do you think these companies all have the same need? Number one. Number two, do you think they have roles that all have the same titles? Let me explain number two a little bit. What I mean is, you know how two companies can have the same role. Do you think those roles will always have the same title? Great question, Joanna. Okay, so I'm waiting for you all to answer my question. But if you have to choose which one, oh, no to both. Okay, I love it. All right, no to both. The same need, yes, maybe. Okay. And then number two, you think they will have the same title? Okay. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to start with number two. Number two is no. Number one, it depends. It depends. However, one thing that companies want is what? They want to make money, revenue. right? Revenue. That's the goal, right? How they go about it could be different internally based on just how the structured organization is. Um, Maybe some people are more customer is one that's going to lead to money anyway. So how they go about it internally, right? They might have different key like OKRs for quarters and things like that. But what is their need? They don't want to pack up and go, right? And how do you not pack up and go? How do you not let people off? Is you have your, your revenue is, is increasing year after year after year. You're moving to what the customer needs are, how the market is shifting, right? You're not held down, bogged down by bureaucracy or legacy systems or things that cannot shift. And so again, literally they need to be an agile organization. How they get to that point, it's a whole different conversation. But the titles are different. The titles are different. And that's why, and this is if you're making note, this is one thing I want you to remember. That's why you can see someone whose title in one organization is a project coordinator. Another person's title in another organization is a project leader, and they're doing the same thing. They're doing absolutely the same thing. And so that leads me to my next point, which says, do not be tied to job titles, but job descriptions. And I'll share why this is. Just make a note of this. Don't be tied to job titles. Because we're talking about career opportunities in Scrum, correct? Don't be tied to job titles, but job descriptions, right? And so now, when we talk about the skills assessment of a Scrum Master, there is the ideal role and responsibility of a Scrum Master. Like the Scrum Guide will tell you what a Scrum Master is supposed to do. The problem is people just get certification and go and practice that on the job. It would not even, like, you'll be frustrated because the ideal and the reality are two different things. There are a manner of like complex problems that you're going to face on the job that the Scrum Guide is not going to prepare you for. Hence, the requirement to go through like a comprehensive, immersive program that is real life, not ideal. You cannot ideally perform surgery through reading a biology textbook until you have experience, right? Now, if you ask, well, what are companies, what are organizations really looking for, right? Because they're looking for people that can actually solve their problem. They're looking for a change agent, not someone who can churn the Scrum Guide. And so when I have conversations around, well, the guy says we should do that, or if I'm in a call and maybe an engineer is revolting or resisting a change, and the agile practitioner on the call says the Scrum Guide says, that is one of our problems in the world. And that's one of the reasons and why engineers sometimes react negatively to Scrum and Agile, just because of how it's been used as, if you're not doing this, you're not doing it right, right? And that's a whole different training. I can't even get into that really. But companies are looking for change agents, right? Looking for someone who can lead from the front and not fold their hands under the guise of self-management and self-organization. Yes, we want our team to be organized and to manage themselves, but then what? Because let me tell you, if you come every day to your job as a Scrum Master and you say, today my focus is to improve my team, every member of the team, the engineer, either the BA, the product owner, whatever, product manager, and then look at the department and look at the organization, you always have work to do. There will always be job to do. And so they're looking for someone who can lead from the front, not someone who would hide behind a guide or, oh, the team is doing well, they don't need me. Why exactly? And they're looking for, most importantly, an experienced agile practitioner beyond the Scrum framework, someone who can leverage the agile principles and mindset. And the Scrum Guide would not give you this, right? I mean, certification is important because, of course, it shows your commitment, right? That you're interested in this. It prepares you for that, understanding the basics, right? But agile practitioner, being an agile practitioner, being a Scrum Master, I like to say it's an apprenticeship industry. It's more where you can learn through books. You got to learn by doing, learn by being in an environment, learn by being on the call, learn by hearing people's examples and people's stories, and all of that, right? And literally learn by being in a program. And let me tell you this, I'm going to say that at the end later. I remember I was speaking to someone who wanted to enroll in our program, and she asked me around something around certification. So are we going to get certified at the end? And I said, let me tell you, my 8 weeks comprehensive Scrum Master program, my goal is not to try to get you to pass the certification. Although my students at the third or fourth week, they take their certification and they pass it. That is not my goal. My goal is that at the end of the program, when a recruiter calls you and tells you of an actual problem that you're facing, what are you going to say? How are you going to answer that? When you go on the job, and ideally on the when you get a new job, you should get like an onboarding process and maybe 1 month. Then people are lucky to get 2 months. You do all of that. What if you get on the job and on your first day they literally put you in a smack in the middle of a sprint planning and they want you to facilitate because the product owner is not around? What are you going to do? Because that has happened to my students. At that point in time, what kind of questions are you going to ask? How are you going to navigate the tools if you've never used the tool before, right? How are you going to ask them, like literally, how would you ask them the questions to say, okay, yeah, we can work on this sprint? Like, how do you look at the description? How do you make sure the requirements are clear? How do you do all of that story pointing thingy? Like, if you don't have experience with all of that, no experience, then how are you going to get a Scrum Master job? Because one of the questions a recruiter might ask you is, oh, our team is always maybe carrying over stories, or they never get, their requirements are never clear, or blah, 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 blah. Like, they could ask you real life questions. So if you don't have the experience through like being on the job, how are you going to answer that? And that's what my program offers. Like I said from the beginning, is I leave this, I do this, right? And I know what is being asked for Agile practitioners like real time. And so that's always a part of our program, because I want my students to go out there and be their best self and make sure that even when they leave the program, they have that continuous learning mindset. Because by the time I teach you something and you go on the job, you could have a whole different environment, right? But you already know how to navigate those complex questions and situations, right? And we're always there, like literally, even when they get the job, it's not a bye-bye, see you later. We literally have support for our on-the-job students as well. So it's all of that, right? So going back to, companies are looking for change agents, not Scrum Master trainer or Scrum Guide trainer, right? And so again, there is that growing adoption of Agile, there's going to be a continuous. I remember reading one of my favorite Agile blogger, and he mentioned that the reason why people think that Agile is fading away, Agile is dead, is because once upon a time, it was like, oh, Agile development and Agile this and Agile that. But now it's no longer Agile development. It's not just development. You know how something comes new and it was like, oh, this, like, I don't know what to use for an example. Someone give me an example. You know how something, everybody's like, oh, this or that or that. But now it's like, okay, oh, thank you, AI. Yeah. Very soon it's gonna be like, oh, well, that's a thing of the past. We want to, I don't know, AI infinity, right? So it's all AI now. But AI has always been there since. We've always had artificial intelligence long time ago, but of course not in the fashion that it is right now, right? Where you can get something to do your whole essay for you. But it's always been there, right? And so yeah, you're absolutely right. The trend, right? And for a company to actually abandon Agile, I am very interested as what the company does and why they abandoned it and what it's doing now. And I'm just very curious. That's going to be a wonderful case study, honestly. All right, so let's go straight up into it. Another thing about why Scrum is in demand, like we talked about, multiple industries, right? So we already know. So if you're searching for a Scrum Master job right now, please look beyond tech, okay? It's very, very important. If you follow me on Instagram, I think it was a reel that I did, and I said that there are companies that tech is their product. There are companies that tech enable them in how they work. So there's tech enabled companies, and there are companies that tech is their product. So your financial services company, legal is not a tech company, but I'm sure tech enables whatever it is that they do. Construction, very heavy on waterfall, but there are definitely elements of it where agility can be used. So again, there are multiple things. And if you're wondering, well, so how can I start? Like, I don't have any experience. I think I say a question around how can I pivot? How can I change industry? And I'll give you another example of one of my students. It's funny because his name actually is one of the names on this chat. So his background was I think just finished like college or something, did like a certificate program from like Google, something like that, and on project management. And he came to my program and he was like talking like he knew, he was always, challenging what I was saying, because project management way of thinking, Agile way of thinking are literally two different ways, but we kind of like, we went through the program and all of that, and then he began to understand what it meant to be an Agile practitioner, most especially a Scrum Master. And he started applying for jobs. But it was something that he did. And I want to give you this tip for everyone who's trying to switch industries is You don't have to go far and out. The industry that you're already working on. So, for example, what he did was he was working like a medical assistant or something on the floor, and but now he's working in a medical tech company as a project manager at level 3. So the young man skipped level 1, level 2. I went to level 3, just because of an 8-week Scrum Master comprehensive program. And so, but what was for me, I think one of the things that stood out was just the fact that he was still within the industry where he already had experience in. So if you work in a bank, if you're working in like whatever it is, like you might think it's ordinary and it's mundane, but I challenge you to look maybe in the corporate office and see what you can do when it comes to Scrum. Okay. I digress again, like I mentioned. So how do we identify, these opportunities? They're everywhere. When I was putting this slide together, I just searched online. So this is my assignment for you. If you're looking, if you're trying to find, if you're not actively searching, just search for Scrum Master job. And like somebody rightly said that some of them are project management. Can you just imagine that? Some of them are project management, general project management positions, and that was miracle actually, in industries where Scrum will be ideal. So I ask you, if you see that, are you going to apply or not? So you see a title of project management manager, and you read the description, and you know you can do. Are you going to apply or not? I am just curious. Tell me honestly, what are you going to do? Okay. Okay. I'm happy to see that. All right. So after hear what I said, you're going to apply. Please do. Even though you're going to be hearing my voice like for a very long time. So there are multiple roles used in place of Scrum Master. And so again, multiple Scrum Master, even Master, Project Manager, Coach, Manager, like multiple companies. So I go back to the question that I asked you before, if you remember, like, do you think companies are going to use the same title? No. Remember what I talked about, the fact that I said, don't be tied to job titles. What should we be tied to? I wish this was like an audio thing where I'm like, don't be tied to job titles, look at job descriptions. Don't be tied to so that we don't forget that, right? So I'm going to show you a real-time example of someone who took my program, and I hope this is clear. And she's not working as a Scrum Master. That's not her title. She's literally working in a finance institution as a manager. Compliance, by the way. And the other person is actually working as a Scrum Master too. I'm just going to leave this here for a little bit, right? So again, the question is the different roles that you see. Look at the job description. For example, Chimno, one of our students, right? Finance background, literally works in a bank. Her title is not Scrum Master or Agile practitioner, but she's leveraging every single thing that we did in class on her job. And that manager that you see there is not the manager job that she got after the class. She got a level below, which I think was like compliance analyst or something. She just got promoted. So my challenge for you is, if it's possible for them, it's also possible for you. And so you might say, okay, so, all right, Stella, I hear you, right? Scrum is in demand, Agile is in demand. Don't look at roles, look at responsibilities. Okay, look at multiple industries. All right, so how can I begin to identify these opportunities, right? How can I begin to, where can I find them? Well, they're also everywhere. But I also want to share with you something else as well. So again, the very interactive class, right? I took a screenshot of this role and responsibility that I saw. And I wondered if someone is going to apply for this role. Like if you look at it, right, it talks about the Scrum Master will act as, look at the first line, as a project leader. Very two opposing words, like we said in the beginning. Someone's this complicated, but I can't remember the other one, complicated but nice or something, and chilling, but whatever, right? Scrum Master and a project leader. Those are two different words. But guess what? This, if you put this and mirror the Scrum Guide, it doesn't work together. But again, the company is looking for someone who can solve their problem. They don't care what the Scrum Guide says. The only question is, can you solve our problem for us? Because we are looking for a Scrum Master who can act as a project lead and an Agile mentor. That is not the job of a Scrum Master. That is not the job of a Scrum Master. But that's who they're looking for. So again, another one. Another responsibility of a Scrum Master that I saw, right? Experience as a Scrum Master leading teams going from waterfall to agile. Okay. Experience handling directly financials in the corporate environment. So this would be good for someone perhaps who already works in a bank. Regardless of what your role is, trust me, you're probably going to have a better chance than someone who hasn't worked in a financial institution. Or experience working with cloud teams. Azure is a plus. Now, if you're applying for a Scrum Master role, please, I implore you that you don't have to wait till you get 100% of the role and responsibilities before you apply. Go for it. Okay? That's a different webinar for a different day. I saw this, which says Information Technology Project Manager. But as I went through the role and responsibility, I would say that a Scrum Master should apply for this, or someone who's, Agile practitioner should apply for this. If you've worked, of course, in the software environment too, right? This should not be strange for the person. Even if you've literally gone through my program, this is not like you will literally want to be applying for these roles. None of these roles is out of bucket or out of touch for any of my students. The tools, the multiple teams, and all of that. So you might say, where can you apply for this? Everywhere. You can start from your current job. You can search on platforms. Because now, guess what has happened? Your understanding of the roles you're looking for has expanded. Remember, our topic today is all about career opportunities in Scrum. Your role search has expanded. The industries have expanded. Most time we're limiting ourselves. I have a student that was Scrum Master. She literally, her title right now is business analyst. Business analyst. So your stuff has expanded, right? So I want to definitely implore you. And so you might say again, right? Can you find success as a Scrum Master even without a background in tech? We already know what the answer to that is. The answer is yes, you can, because tech is not the only industry where you can work as a Scrum Master. It is not. I have students that are working in banks, and they're literally right here. One of them is working in Equifax. You can see it on the screen right there. I have another student that is working in another bank here as well, in the States. So they're all literally spread across, regardless of, they also don't have financial background too. Just because I say been working in the financial industry might give you an edge, doesn't mean that if you don't have that financial background, you cannot apply. No. The whole point around that is, if you're always wondering what's my next step, leverage what you already have. Because if I have experience working in a financial industry or financial bank or whatever it is, I probably would pivot towards that first while I'm looking for other roles outside or other companies outside, right? So again, it is possible. These people have never had any Scrum background, Scrum experience, Agile experience, and all of that. And for my students, like being able to see that transformation happen in real time is so important to me, because it's just proof that this thing works. Not just the fact that they get a six-figure job and their lives change because, hey, they can work remotely. For those who want to work hybrid, they have the opportunity of working hybrid. They love the job that they're doing. They're able to see the impact, and all of that. It's just the fact that I also hear that, even our mindset has changed. And that's why, like, Agile mindset, I'm all in for it, right? So it's just the way you think about, well, how can we solve this problem, and how can we ensure that these people are empowered to do their work? How can we be a change agent? That literally translates into your personal life as well. So I can keep going on and on and on and on, and names are here, everything is here. If you ever wanted to have an idea of, okay, let me even know more about the students that have been through these Enter technologies or been through the Scrum Master Comprehensive Program, you can get as many of these reviews as possible on our Facebook, on our LinkedIn, on our Instagram, or just our students. Like one thing I always love to do is I always like to bring them together to even share that experience. And this year for the International Women's Month, I did that, right? So I got this, some of my female students to share their experience just being a woman in tech and how that has changed their life, some of the things that they're facing and all of that. And so they're able to share just all of that. So if you're interested in seeing more about this, I'm happy to share that with you as well. Now, let me bring it back a little bit just to the job market overview, because I gave you an assignment and I said that I wanted you all to do a search for Scrum Master jobs right now, especially if you're looking. Right. And just for those who are still on the fence, still doubting, just know that the market is just going to keep increasing. The Scrum market, the Agile market is just going to keep increasing, right? Because again, there is just that demand for it. the salary range, the most promising job, the companies that are going to be using agile approaches, the companies that are going to be using Scrum. Like, look at fact number 4, 97% organizations will continue to use Scrum. Another story, I remember being just in a conversation with some other agile practitioners, and we're talking about the other framework, and they were mentioning names, and I literally asked them, how many of you really know how to use this framework? No. Even the safe, the scaled agile itself, the core of it is still on Scrum, right? It's still on Scrum. That's why it's one of the most popular framework. Of course, there are other frameworks as well, right? And but again, the core of agile is how can we deliver value to the customer and get feedback, right? And how can we ensure that the people are self-organized and self-managed, where no one tells them what to do, but they always know what the priority is. That is more of like the foundation of it all. All right. So I'm checking the chat to see if anyone has any particular question for me. I know I saw a question before around just pivoting careers, and I hope I've been able to answer that question for you. But so far, does anyone have any question for me? Because I want to drive it home, and I want to bring it all home right now. And you might be saying, well, so all right, Stella, I am ready to get the Scrum Master job. I am ready to be in there. I'm ready to be intentional about my career growth. I know that Scrum and being a Scrum Master, being an other practitioner is who I am, or I have the skills, I have transferable skills. I've been searching for a Scrum Master job and nothing is happening. I'm applying. Recruiters are not either picking my call or not responding to me, or I do interviews and I'm not getting feedback. I just don't know what is going on. Now, if that is your goal, I want to assume if that is your goal, if your goal is, okay, so I want to be a Scrum Master on the job. I want to get that Scrum Master job, whether it be the title is Scrum Master or whatever it is, but I want to be able to amass and get that knowledge and experience that would make me so high in demand that I can literally pivot from one title to one title because of what I bring to the table. Now, if that is you, I just want to invite you to our program. And that is just a very, very simple solution right there. And you might say, okay, so who is Enster and what is Enster? One of the things that we do is that our courses are offered to accommodate literally all kinds of students, regardless of your background, regardless of your experience. I have students who are certified, I have students who are not certified, students who've worked in corporate America, those who literally are immigrants, so all manner of students. And the way the program is structured is nobody's left behind. We have things usually part of our curriculum where the goal is, as long as if you have questions, your questions will be answered. And that's just the honest truth. And even after the program, like I said, we have support till employment. And so our program is done. We've even given much more than we've asked for. But again, I understand that being someone who's trying to pivot or change careers, you need accountability. And so we have that support till employment, right, to ensure that our students don't feel behind. They don't feel behind. They don't fall behind, and they are still in that community, cheering them on. We have students who are doing interviews, and they share that with us, and we give them feedback. And so we literally handhold until you get that job, right? And another great thing about our program is it covers like on-the-job search. It covers interviews. It covers resume. It covers LinkedIn. All of that you're going to have access to like real-time interviews so that the questions that are being asked of Scrum Master, the other practitioners, and all of that. And so, as I call it, a comprehensive program, and so much more. I can literally keep going on and on and on and on and on. But one thing I want to say, because I see that there's a link in the chat, but the link is not active. If you can send that again, that would be helpful. Is if you are interested in this program, I would definitely recommend that you book a call. Because we're working on something for this Juneteenth month and Independence month coming up. So we have like an incentive coming up for our students, those who are going to be registering in this quarter, in July. And so I want you to book a call to make sure that you get the first information around how much our cost is going to be. We're doing like a wonderful, like, I don't want to call it, not a discount, it's an incentive. And so for anyone who signs up, the first 10 people that sign up are going to get $500 off whatever that price is going to be as we celebrate independence and make sure that nobody sees investment on finance as a blocker to changing their life. Again, this is the program. So industry experience trainer, 8 weeks of training sessions. Even if you cannot make the class, you have recording to help and support you. Resume assistance, again, regardless of what background you're coming from, you're going to help you with your resume. You're going to be able to even have access to other resumes. So you make sure that your resume speaks about you before you even speak to that recruiter. Because again, recruiters get thousands of resume, like a lot of resumes. How is your resume going to stand out, right? How is your resume going to stand out? We're going to do project and assignment. Remember, I talked about they want you to solve real problem. You're going to have a real problem on your assignment. You're going to have enough examples to give, right? Certificates of course completion, you can put that on your LinkedIn, you can put that on your resume. If you're working for a company that values career growth, hey, you can even get reimbursed. If you want to get reimbursed, just let us know and we'll be able to work with you. Interview preparation, you're going to do mock interviews and all of that, right? And support during the class, after the class, and just so many benefits. It's just mind-blowing. And like I mentioned, it's not about you passing certification. While that is part of our curriculum, because our students are certified actually, but the goal is, are you able to answer a question when a recruiter asks you a question, or when a hiring manager give me a time when, or tell me this, right? If they ask you scenario-based questions, are you able to answer that? So please and please, I'll definitely say you want to book a call. That'll be very important so that we can tell you about our, you know, price for this period, for the season, and for the first 10 people that actually sign up are going to get $500 off. All right, so I think I see a question in the chat. I'm going to get to that real soon. And again, just bear in mind, on that, one of the benefits that we have is that we have payment plan options. So you don't feel like finance may be a challenge. We literally help make sure that your payment plan is spread across. And we have loans. We work with a financing company that helps you spread out your loan and all of that too. And so that's really supportive. And that's really been helpful for our students. And so if you're curious when the next date of my class is going to be, it's going to be July 16th. July 16th, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am ready and I am excited for this one. I'm always excited for this one, for all of my classes. So July 16th, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested and you want to get started, I think there are instructions in the chat. All right, so let me see what I have in the chat for questions while I take a pause here. I'm a civil engineer and have been in the various project team. How do I fit in? You fit in. How about, let's just start with that, right? You fit in. If you've worked in a project management environment, project management team, civil engineer, I'll just be curious if your environment was in an agile. Something told me maybe not, but you do have project management experience. So my recommendation might just definitely be taking the program. But again, I don't have enough information from your question here to give you like insight on what you should do next. So if you want to book a call, that would be really helpful. Because I don't know how long you've been a civil engineer for. I need to know what your day-to-day looks like. And one thing again, like I say, is most people think that they don't have experience, but by the time you go through my program, I'm able to bring out experience for you. If we have a time conflict on one night of the week, I have a current coming on Thursday, can I make decisions up another way? Yes, you can. So including the recorded sessions that you're going to get, regardless of if you miss it or not, we usually have makeup classes. So I literally donate an hour of my time for students who maybe have questions or questions on assignments or anything like that, or maybe what you're recording and they need more insight, anything of that nature. It's more like an office hour. So you're able to, that's what we offer literally, is you're able to leverage the office hour to answer any question you have. But I would definitely say if you're missing a session, you want to watch the recording and of course come prepared with questions, and that way I'm able to guide you. But yeah. All right, any other question for me in the chat? Oh no, the registration is not the cost of the class. The registration is for you to secure your spot in the class. And when you do that, it's also part of your class payment. Yes, part of your class payment. So I'll just secure your class just because of the fact that if the class gets full, the class gets full. But I can assure you right now that based on this period that is coming up, like I said, the Juneteenth and Independence, we're putting together like a really good package and deal for anyone who joins the class in July, on July 16th. So just secure your seat and it's going to be put towards your class. And if you have any question, please, the registration fee, $50, only valid while you're on this call. So, America, I'll make sure I answer your question. Does that apply once we have the consultation call? Does that apply? Or is the $50 registration fee only valid while on this call? It's valid while on this call. I would say, I mean, if you're going to have the consultation call, you might as well just make the payment now. Bala says, if one is already certified and can't get a job, what options do I have? Okay, so if certification is what you have, I'll say join my class, honestly. I don't know when you join the call, but certification is good to get started, but it's not enough to get a job. Again, I would definitely say join my class, because in my class we cover way beyond certification. Like I said, my goal is not just certification, it's way beyond that, right? So kudos to you for getting certified. Now, if you want to get a job, you have to take a little bit further and deeper, because again, the market is shifting and changing, so you have to be ready for it. All right. Again, if you want to know what the next step is after this, just make sure that you pay your registration fee to secure your sitting class, and or book a consultation call if you have any more question, and just making sure that as soon as we open up the price for this period, that you make sure you're in class. Like, that is so important. Okay. Now, the demand, like I said, is only going to keep going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, because when we work with people, there is a need for an agile expert, someone who can navigate people, processes, and products. And so you don't want to wait. Like I've shown you enough examples of those who have taken the class, some of them working as Scrum Masters. One of them literally had first job after my class was senior Scrum Master. One who's working as a manager for a bank in Canada. I can go on and on and on and on, and they're all out there, right? And I'm able to see just even how the market shifts and how their career shifts and changes as well. One of them is actually taking another certification for network engineering, because her Scrum teams were network engineers. Like, I'm just blessed and proud of my students. So again, what are you waiting for? And I'm going to say this, right? When it comes to my class, for sure, one thing you want to know is it takes two to tango. I always say that to my students. And so if you're joining my class, it's for people who are like ready to get the ground running, ready to be focused and dedicated and say, this is the goal that I want to get to. Because if that is the mindset, then the sky is just the limit, right? Because there's so much information that's going to be coming, right? So many maybe new things, maybe things that you already know, but you're seeing a different light, right? Applying for a job is not a casual activity, is a continuous activity, right? And so guiding, following literally my steps, my guidance, my coaching, and holding yourself accountable, me holding you accountable, is teamwork. And so I just want to make sure that you have that mindset. Again, just all about agile mindset, right? We fail fast, we fail forward, we learn, we keep on moving. And so I've seen agile change people's lives, and I wanted to change your life. And so I'm encouraging you and I'm imploring you that you join my class when it's coming up July 16th. You can definitely book a call, make your $50 payment registration fee, because after this live call, the registration fee is going to go up. So if you want to just $50, make $50, and it's going to be part of your class tuition that we're going to be sharing to everybody on this call. All right. Do I have any question from anybody? I'm just going to say thank you so much, but I'm still going to move right back to my slide that has all of the benefits of the class. Does anyone have any question for me? And thank you for hanging out with me. I know it is past the time, and I really want to appreciate everyone for hanging out with me. And I think I was supposed to actually activate something. Yes, so if you look at the chat now, there is the offer part of it. Book a call with an admissions rep and reserve your spot in the next Scrum Master cohort. I think if you look at like the part, I think you might see chat and offer. So click on offer and let's get the party started, okay? You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, for those who are on the call, let me know in the chat, how has the call been for you? Was it insightful, impactful? What was something that you learned? You know what? Yes, let's do this. What was something that you learned and you're taking away with? All right, Mr. Anthony, 18 years. You're welcome, Adara. On the field of civil construction and have been involved in project management. Mr. Anthony, I am very sure that you are very qualified. Yeah. I'm very sure you're very qualified. I would love to know more about just your experience and see why you want to pivot and know how I can support you for that. So if you can book a call, Mr. Anthony, let's talk more about that, and let's see if our program is a fit for you. And I'll be happy to guide you in your next step. Okay. Yes. All right. So I love it. I love what I'm saying. I'm just going to keep it coming. Let me know what you've learned. Make sure that I wasn't just speaking to myself, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So let's see this. 1 second. So, Mr. Anthony, I'll be expecting your call. Please book your call. And for anyone as well who has any questions, please feel free to book that call, that consultation call. We'll be able to answer your question. But I definitely want you to secure your seat in class. $50 is literally a cup of something. And it's going to be worth it. I have students who have mentioned that the investment that they made in class when it was literally the full price, they got that and more in their 2 weeks payment, 2 weeks salary payment. So I want to set this up for you. The investment that they paid for their class, like how much they paid for the class at our original price, they made that money and more in 2 weeks of their Scrum Master job. I just want to level set that for you, because people always talk about how much is it and oh my goodness, is it expensive? I always say expensive varies, because you have to ask yourself, what you're losing right now, is it expensive, right? Because by the time you get into the field, the opportunities are endless, right? Not just the career growth is endless and all of that, right? But even just the financial opportunities as well, and so you find people who are working as Scrum Masters, have businesses by the side, they're able to pay off rent, pay off mortgage, have real estate. Why? Because of the opportunity, because of the investment that it made. It made a one-off investment, and now their returns keep coming on and on and on. So, all right, so I want to just read all I'm saying here. So thank you so much. You're welcome. I'm glad that, Adora, you're welcome. I'm glad the information was helpful. Thank you, Joanne, about it being insightful. Yes, Ebony, apply based on job description. Yes, done. Agile is not only in tech. And yes, Miracle, you can broaden your horizons as a Scrum Master once you have the necessary support. And Joanne, I've learned that I can start from wherever I am in my career journey. Adora says, how much does the class cost? Isn't that a great question? All right, so now I'm going to talk about the initial cost of the class, but like I mentioned earlier on, right, we're doing a package right now. We're doing a bonus right now for the season that we're in, and that's what I'm saying, that it's very important that you make a registration fee. The initial cost of the class is actually $3,500. But for this season and this period that we're in, we're definitely wanting to make sure that it's accessible for more of our students, and also the fact that, hey, it's multiple things are going on in this period, independence and all of that. So my recommendation for you is, if you want to know the cost of the class, is for you to book that registration, book that consultation call, and also, or just make $50 towards your payment of the class. It would definitely be something that's very, very beneficial. It won't be a challenge for people to make a payment on this at all. Okay, I hope that helped. I know it was a little bit vague, but that was the best I could do at this point in time. And $500 would be for the first 10 people who sign up. So now, again, you might say, well, am I going to lose my $500? No, you would not lose your $500, actually. Again, you book the consultation call, for those who sign up after you book the call and all of that, if you're people that make your payment, you're going to get $500 off of your price. So just have that, plus what we're already going to be taking off of the original price. Yes, payment plans. Yes, then we have payment plan and we have financing partners. Payment plan is also a great way for you to get into. We spread it across the 8 weeks, and I think that's also another opportunity. So yeah. I have a question for people who are on the call still. Is there anything that is stopping you from signing up to the class? Anything stopping you from signing up for the class? You're welcome, Dan. Is there anything, are you, is it, and I've seen Miracle talk about time. I think Don asking about payment plan. I see Adora asking about, not knowing the full price. All right, so how about we do this, Ebony? Have you booked your consultation call yet? How about we start with that, right? As soon as we start with that, because I believe that the price is going to be live on Monday. I just don't want to say anything else at the moment, so that I don't, give the wrong one. But the price will be out on Monday, and that will be shared to everybody who's on this call right now. And like I mentioned, the first 10 people that sign up will get $500 off. But just have that at the back of your mind. Since you're already on our mailing list, I think you're going to get that information. So please keep an eye out for that. But I definitely recommend you, please, 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 if you're really interested, you want to definitely book that consultation call. And they probably will speak to you on Monday because it's already Friday afternoon here, and let you know what that price is. Bola says finance not working at the moment. Okay. So Bola, again, we have payment plan, we have financing partner. So you literally have two solutions to that problem. Again, let's book a consultation call so that when you're aware of the price, we can work with you on what that financing looks like. One of the things that again is that one of the things we are working on is not certified yet. Actually, is we're trying to what's the word now? Collaborate with a company that is able to do financing in a different way, where they literally work with you on base off of what can you pay, and then they spread out the rest across how long you want to pay it. So this program is not just, again, teach you, go bye-bye. We are fully aware of the challenges that our students face. Either be an immigrant, whether it be time issue, whether it be tech issue, whether it be finance and all of that. And so we're always trying to make sure that we are providing solutions to solve those problems for our students. So if finance is a challenge, I would definitely say you want to leverage our financing options, payment plan. And I just want to recommend everyone to please book that call so that you're able to get $500 off as soon as the price is unleashed on Monday. Okay. All right. I think I've said enough today. What do you think about that? I want to thank you all so much for being on here. If you want to stay connected with who we are, if you want to share with your friends, your family, your loved ones, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. And we're going to be definitely reaching out to you as well. You can reach out to us anytime. You can share something that you learned today on your stories. Tag us as a technology so that we can repost as well. But I'm absolutely excited. I am looking forward to see you all class July 16th. And I cannot wait to change your life just through all things Agile and all things Scrum. So thank you again, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope it's fabulous. I hope it's wonderful. And I hope